Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm Bobby Teebs with Swavant Films. I'm a artist, producer, filmmaker. I do all my own editing on my videos. And today I'm going to do a little how-to of my video for Don't Worry. I used a lot of AI tools, which was a painful experience. Shout out to the guys at Quarter Digital who kind of inspired this with their rock, paper, scissors anime, and figured I wanted to jump on it before everyone else is doing it. So this is kind of my short tutorial on how I did what I did. So the main thing, if you are not in the AI realm at all, I used was a program called Stable Diffusion. Now, Stable Diffusion is, I don't really know how to explain it. It's like it's AI, man. You type shit in, it makes pictures. It's pretty insane, honestly. You can put images in and modify those images, and that's a very dumbed down version of what I did. I basically put images in and got different images out. Okay, so Stable Diffusion, pretty simple. Hey guys, yeah, I just wanted to apologize for that statement. That was a lie. This is what it looks like. You can literally just type in, let's just say, actually, I don't like cats. Let's do dog, all right? Generate. My computer does not like screen recording and Stable Diffusion at the same time, apparently. And then look. That's a beautiful picture of a dog, all right? And, you can get further than that. You can do a dog in space. A dog in space. All right, we'll just do one. And there we go. The future is here. So the main thing that we end up using in this is the image to image. But before we get to that, I got to talk about AI training. This was horrible and had me feeling like one of those Ren and Stimpy close-ups, or like SpongeBob if that was more your thing, if you're one of them. Anyway, I don't have a super strong computer. I have a 3070 Ti, which isn't the worst graphics card you've ever heard of, but for AI, it is a pile of steaming dog shit, apparently. So what I needed to do was, there is a website called RunPod, and I'm not going to walk you through this entire thing because there's tons of other channels to that, but RunPod is basically a virtual cloud GPU that you can use, and you can run Dreambooth through that. An example, I have a folder of some of my data sets, and basically it would have a bunch of pictures of myself. In this case, that's what I did, a model of myself, and I would throw it into Dreambooth with a bunch of other images of... Okay, so I didn't really explain this too well. The images of man that you would put in, they're called regularization images, and it basically gives the images that you're putting in something to compare themselves to, and it's usually put in as the class. So because I put man as the class, it would compare to other images of men, so then it had examples to generate from. There we go. It's a horrible version of myself. A more horrible version of myself. Sorry. Now, LoRA is basically a dumbed down version of Dreambooth. I don't know the technical differences. I'm not a scientist. So basically, it can run on a shittier GPU. So what I originally did was, I took my anime dataset, ran that through LoRA, and then I was able to apply it to pictures of myself. And the first results I got were something like this, which was kind of shitty. So what I ended up doing was ran it until I got a bunch of good images of myself as like an anime character, like these. Then I put those back into the data set with all of the original anime data, like the anime screenshots. Reran it using RunPod. I was able to use DreamBooth because I found out that I can use someone else's good GPU, and that made much better models for me. When I started doing that, I started getting much better results, and I was able to go to the image to image. Now, this right here is the model that I made for the video that I used. So a little tutorial on how it works is, so I go to the pictures of myself, drag that in, do the prompt, which is Afro Samurai style cell animation of Bobby Teague's man. Gotta learn how to spell my name. And then we generate it. And look, we have the alchemist with cancer. So that's good. So, how do we clean this image up? This is in the Quarter digital tutorial, so I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just copying what they did on the video. These sliders, you're going to need to mess with basically all of them until you get it the way you want. You want to crop and resize. The reason that neck is so long is because I didn't do that. And so now we go to width, and now it's the actual size of the shot it's going to generate. We'll generate that again. Let's see how that looks. And all right, that's pretty good. So how can we get it even better? So you go down, you go to image alternative test. You keep on the sample method Euler, unclick this, the override prompt, for the same value as original, because we're not going to use original prompt or original negative. We keep the override sample steps, and unclick override denoise strength. We'll bring this down 32. I don't know. I'm just picking random shit. And sigma adjustment. Click it. Generate that again. Let's see how that's looking. And all right, that's pretty good. This is where negative prompts come in. Let's do, my mouth is open, it's clearly not in there. Let's do closed mouth. Oh, I'm sorry, open mouth. And let's generate that again, see how that is. There we go, that's flames. So basically what these sliders do is this range kind of keeps it, the lower you go with the denoising strength, the more it looks like the original image. The higher you go, it seems like the more it uses the data set. So I don't know if that's correct. It looks more crazy the higher you go. I'll put it all the way up just to give you an example. That's still pretty good, honestly. But clearly it's not the exact same framing as the original. It's showing more of my, it's more of a mid shot than a close-up. And then if we go even lower with this, it's going to make it closer to this image. And see, that looks just like weird. Go a little bit up. And it's going to look more like anime again. See, that's like a strange in-between. So basically, yeah, that's the basis of how this project is done. And so what you need to do is you basically need to take your videos, put them into whatever program you need, convert them as a GIF sequence. So that will give you a screenshot of every frame, like we see right here. And then I would copy this folder, like here, go into the batch, paste the input directory, then output directory, wherever you want the final screenshots to be saved. And then you basically just generate. I'm not going to do it because, like I said, shit GPU. It takes a while, and I already did it. The video's done. So that's the main basis. Some of the things I learned along the way were that flatter images, like shooting in a vlog, give so much more detail for, just cameras to work with anyway, and that helps the AI in my personal experience. I'll show you, I have a clip that I made from when I was testing this out on one of my old videos where it's a screenshot one is from the video and then one is from the vlog footage, and you can see the detailed difference. I guess I didn't really explain LoRA, because I also use LoRA a lot in this because it takes a while to train a model. My buddy Kyle is in this video, and so the way that I made his, you'll probably notice our animation styles are a little different. I could have been less lazy and made a model for him, but we shot everything really quick. I didn't even think I was going to have enough stuff to make a video, but I really just went pretty hard with the editing, so I was able to stretch it out a lot, basically. So the way that I did Kyle's animation was I chose like a default model for the Stable Diffusion. In this case, it was I can't remember if I used 1.5 or 1.4. I'll try both real quick to show how that was. So I go back to these are my folders of my GIF sequences, and so I'll drag in I'm on text. I'll drag in a picture of Kyle, right? Alright, so that's not a great picture because he's not looking at the camera. We'll try a different one. Still eyes are closed, whatever. We'll be good. So we'll take out all these ones that I did, and then I'll do the same kind of prompt. I'll do Afro Samurai style cell animation of a man with glasses of, you know what? We'll change this up. Of a bearded man with long hair and glasses. So all these settings are the same, right? And basically, because I don't have my own model trained for this, I'll need to go into extra networks, and we go to LoRA, and then these are all my previously trained models. I'll link a bunch of the tutorials underneath this video of what helped me learn to do everything. And so basically I have one in here that is it's the same anime I used for my own model. So it's Afro Samurai. You click that, and then you see it adds this little thing here, and you're gonna need to play with that. This is the percentage, this number of how much it takes from that. So we'll generate it, right? See how it comes out. Alright, so that's fucking crazy. Doesn't look like Kyle, right? So we'll just bring this down to about halfway. See how that looks. Generate it again. Beautiful. Look at it. That's a man with a beard, long hair, glasses. Looks like my buddy Kyle. Basically, that's what I did. So, these were the first original tests I did. So, as you can see here, this is just me doing some random motions. I just filmed this by myself. This was my first data set test, and as you can see, it's pretty wonky. It doesn't really go very hard, to be quite frank. And so then basically That was with an original anime I tried. I couldn't figure it out. I don't know if I just had a bad data set, what it was. I retrained another LoRA model with the Afro Samurai style, which I liked much more. And I got this. Fucking pretty good. Pretty good. Except, if you haven't noticed, my complexion is not the same as that. That's where prompts came in. I put Caucasian, and then I got this. Much better, right?
All right, let's calm the fuck down here. So, what do I mean by that's better? I mean that this new version is more representative of the original image that I put in. I don't mean that any race, creed, and or religion is better than any other. That's not. I'm an ally. That's not what I'm about.
I used this to start generating more anime pictures of myself with image to image. Just basically applied them into the data set, and I got this. And I said, that's pretty good. I can work with that. I also noticed that close-up shots were a lot better to use, in my personal opinion. I don't know if it's because the data set I used just had so much more faces and so much more close-up shots just in that particular anime. I mean, a lot of animes are filmed like that. You know, the battle scenes are pretty quick moving, and there's not a lot of there's not too many full body shots. So, I mean, it might just be a consequence of that. How did I do that trippy spin shot? The way I did this was another AI tool. It's called Deforum. And Deforum is insane. Definitely going to mess around more with that. Might even do a full video just using Deforum. I really enjoy it. I'll link some tutorials of people who know all the settings much better than me. I'm still trying to figure stuff out with it. I'm still having some problems with it, if I'm being quite honest. But I'll just show you a little example. This is literally the stay in prompt of what it does. You know, this is just pre in it. I'll just generate this so it shows you. But basically, these values are the frame rates. So, you know, for 30 frames, it'll be the tiny cute swamp bunny, and then go into the clean cat. And then 30 more frames will go into a coconut. 30 more frames, it'll be a durian. You know, that's the idea of it. You know, 120 frames max, so every shot gets 30 frames. And then there's these values, which the angle is what I did to make it spin. Obviously, zoom is what I did to make it zoom in. Now, I will say, I generated a ton of these because I could not get... It seems to work with one subject and then transform that subject. So when you add a zoom and a spin, it's a little harder for it to figure out where to create from. So if you can avoid that, I'd say try it. I've seen people do this pretty flawlessly though, so I might just not know what the hell I'm doing. But yeah, let me generate this just to show you an example. To show the video, and there we go. It's the prompt. The prompt is working, and it's, you know, that's great. So how did I make my video with it? Well, I used the data set that I made, and I inserted the same prompts. Like, let me start with this. I'll just do Afro Samurai style cell animation of Bobby T's man. And I'm not gonna waste my time typing out more prompts because you'll be able to see with the first one that this changes it. I'll just add, you know, the original, the Afro Samurai cell animation. I forgot animation in all of them. You know what? I'm going to do this even easier for you. I'm going to keep all these the way they were. Even take it out of this. I'll just put image of Bobby Teeb's man, and then in positive prompts, I'm gonna put Afro Samurai style cell animation. That's gonna trigger that from the Stable Diffusion model. And basically what positive prompts does is it's gonna put that before every single one. So if there's something you want to apply to everything, you put it in positive prompts. Same thing with negative. You want to take something out of everything, you do it in negative prompts. So we'll put Afro Samurai style cell animation. And this is something I forgot to add that Quarter Digital talks about. You know, you can do stuff like grain, noise, specks, disfigured, ugly, and a lot of these, wow, I spelled that really wrong. That's on brand. You know, a lot of these will basically just be taking out if they're in negative prompts. It doesn't work perfectly. It's not a science. It's still learning. But, you know, it's getting there. You know, I was able to make this with it, so that's pretty cool. So generate that. Let's see how that comes out. If it works, you should see basically, there it is. I can already see that is a picture of me in the anime style. So everything else should also be in that style. That model doesn't have a ton of things, so it might not be as crisp. It also is made just for supposed to be me, so coconut might look like my head or something. I don't know how it's going to come out. This is just an example of how I made what I did. I generated a ton of these to get the ones that I liked for the backgrounds. I mean, you can try to have consistency with the seeds that you use, but I mean, I just kind of just did random, kept generating until I got something I liked. Alright, now let's preview this, see how this looks. Well, that's me. Oh, there's like the cat, transformed into a cat. See, the coconut got a little weird. This is what I mean. It's not perfect, but you get the idea. You know, for a second there, my head was coconut tree. Amazing. AI. It's the future if you want to be a coconut tree. So, how do you put all these things together? Well, that's the magic of video editing. So, basically, what I did was I put all those screenshots together onto one file. I will show you a quick example here. So what I would do here is I'm going to take a short one. And, alright, here's one of me walking with a gun, right? I would drag that into the timeline. And I would nest the sequence, so it basically combines all of them. And then, for some reason, I have my settings set so that it's one frame per, that every screenshot should be one frame. I don't know if my project settings are wrong or something, but I've had to re-speed a lot of the clips, which was a super pain, especially with words, which is why some of the words probably don't line up exactly perfect on mine. I used the original footage and tried, but you know, you can painstakingly go into every screenshot and be like, okay, closed mouth on this part, open mouth with the prompts, but I'm kind of lazy, at least for this one. So it was my first time, you know, forgive me. So basically, you would drag this into DaVinci Resolve, and you would go to Fusion, which is their editor, you know, and then you would basically add a auto dirt remover, add that, and then you would add deflicker. And the deflicker is really what does it. You know, that basically restores it. I'm not really going to go too much further into this because I don't really use Resolve that much, and Corridor Digital does a much better job explaining this than me. Basically just copying their method. They copy and paste the deflicker a bunch of times. They changed the detailer restore. I don't remember the exact sequence. I didn't use that exact thing because it was taking so long to render. I literally just did deflicker twice, and I felt like it was good enough for the footage I used. And so basically it transforms that very flickery version to a smoother, much more buttery version. Alright, sorry about that. My camera died. So back to this. Basically, I have a Stable Diffusion model in. I put Afro Samurai style cell animation of a cyberpunk cityscape. I reapply the LoRA of my anime setting, and then I click generate. And then there we go. You know, it's basically, I just made a bunch of these type of cityscapes. The ones I liked, I put them into extras, and basically what this is, it just resizes the image to make it larger. All these images kind of work on a basis of 512 by 512 pixels. So I would bring it in here, and then I would just resize it behind the green screen footage, and add a little bit of blur to it, and that was it. Basically that's how I did the video. Was mostly AI generated stuff. This is not a drag and drop type of situation though. There's a ton of work that goes in behind it. Making these models takes a lot of time. Editing takes a lot of time. So yeah, I hope that I explained this well enough for you guys. Like I said, I'm not getting super deep into it. I'm not a teacher, first of all. It's never been my forte. And there's a ton of other people who are smarter than me with this stuff, know a ton more. And like I said, I'll link all those below. And, thanks for watching, and I guess until I make another stupid work-intensive project. Peace.